Hello and welcome to the next instalment of Meet the Team. We're here on board the NS Fram in the observation lounge. This is a very special Meet the Team, and I'm here with, well, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Chelsea. I'm the expedition photographer here on board Fram.
That's great, because that's question number one, as most of our expedition team do, is what do you do on board the ship, and how long have you worked for Hurtigruten?
I've worked for Hurtigruten since 2012, and I have been working as the photographer this entire time. So
Fantastic.
I know a lot about taking pictures of all of our different destinations.
Good stuff. I'm not going to ask how many pictures, because that'll be
It's a hard question to answer.
Exactly. So, which ship are you normally based on?
Normally, since 2012, I've been on Fram, but in the future, I'm now going to be going to the Spitsbergen and to the Midnattsol, and then eventually the Amundsen once it's launched. So I'm looking forward to that.
Covering all different shapes and sizes, which is really good, really good. Question number 3 then. In your opinion, why are Hurtigruten the best?
I think that we do a really great job at inspiring our passengers to be ambassadors for the different polar regions, especially in Antarctica. We really harp strongly on our plastic initiative, and that's something we've taken big strides in lately. And as well as this new hybrid ship coming out, it's going to be a total game changer, I think, in the exploration world. And I'm really happy to be part of this company for those reasons, especially.
Yeah, and as you all know, Amundsen and Nansen are going to be super ships as they join the fleet and expand us into the expedition. Question number 4 then. So what is the most exciting part of an expedition day? What's the point that you really look forward to?
Well, of course, it depends on where we're sailing, but I think I love sunsets, especially when we're amongst the ice, because often that happens really, really late at night, and the light just gets fantastic, and everyone's kind of asleep by then if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and I still stay up for the right light on the ice. It's a very peaceful, calm feeling when you're just quietly drifting amongst this amazing light and these amazing icebergs around us.
So what you're saying is you're up a long day.
I have a very long
day. Nocturnal almost.
Yes.
Question number 5 then. What's your favourite destination and why?
I would say Antarctica, and specifically South Georgia in some ways. Even though there's not ice necessarily there when we're traveling, it feels like a completely other world. I remember my first stop at Fortuna Bay, my first time there. We had so many fur seals that actually our expedition leader at the time had never seen so many on the beach that day. And you felt like you were almost in Jurassic Park with these sticks to not fight off, but fend off the fur seals coming at you from all directions. And it really was an experience I'll never ever forget. But for that reason, the king penguins are fantastic, and Antarctica in general, I would say there's so many different parts of Antarctica that are so versatile. Below the circle is beautiful, and the landscape is a little bit more Antarctic, if you will. And then you have further on the peninsula, you have tons of wildlife. And in South Georgia, even more wildlife. So it's really hard to decide. I would say Antarctica
in all. The ultimate Antarctic experience.
Yes.
Which is the 23-day trip that we do on MS Fram.
Yes.
Which takes in all of those journeys. Which is great. So, question number 6 then. Sorry, question number 7, I should say. Before you head out on expedition, other than your camera, what is the first thing that you put in your case? The thing that you can't live without whilst being on board.
Well, of course, my camera is a hard one to top. I have my laptop always with me because I do need to use that to work. But I guess on a personal note, warm socks and a warm hat. I tend to go through socks like crazy in Antarctica because we're going in and out of wet weather sometimes and constantly having to change that. I never thought for Christmas that I would ask people for really good socks. The child in me is very anti that, but I think that I definitely can use some warm socks now.
The complete role reversal. When you get socks as a kid, nobody wants them.
Yeah.
Now you're at that stage where you're asking for them.
Now I'm asking for them, exactly. Yeah, the warmer the better.
Of course, the heat always goes out your feet or your head first. So
yeah, exactly.
Very, very important. Very important.
And we're standing ashore for a long time, so we do try to make sure we're completely covered in case for whatever reason we do have to stay even longer than planned, we always have extra gloves, extra hats with us ashore to make sure we're safe. Yeah.
Question number 8 then. So I think we may have covered it already, but what's that one moment that stands out, that memory that you'll never forget whilst on expedition?
Well, surprisingly, it's not the same moment that I
Oh, wow,
discussed.
okay.
I would say my first trip on the Fram, that first day, full 24 hours, were just overload. I actually had no idea what to expect when I came on the ship. I had never heard of Hurtigruten. I'm originally from California. We don't know yet Hurtigruten as well as we should, I think. And I think it's going to be great to see the word get spread in the U.S. But I came on board not knowing what to expect, and the first night on board we left Iceland, and I saw the Northern Lights for the first time.
Oh, wow.
And then the next morning we had a blue whale, and I just was completely blown away by the experience and knew that this was the place I needed to be. So I would say that my first experience on the ship is my most memorable, but of course there's a million other amazing experiences.
That's good.
Going through the gullet below the Antarctic Circle this season, we were the first time we could get through in 10 years, and it started snowing right when we got to the end, and it was blue twilight. It's so many experiences to name, but I would say the first was, you can't beat the first.
First impressions, as always, are
Yeah.
key, and it clearly worked. So
Yeah.
Chelsea continues to work for us. Question number 9 then. What's your top tip for the best experience whilst on a polar trip?
I would say the top most important thing is to not to under expect because we will always over deliver, and we like to stay flexible. You have to trust that we have plan A, B, all the way through Z ready to go in our back pocket, and if something goes wrong or has to be changed, we really do our best to make the experience amazing for you. And I think that that's a very important thing. You have to be flexible, because the trip's going to be great no matter what. You can't think, oh no, you said we were going there, and if the weather's bad, you can't let that ruin your trip. You have to just be open to what we have as a backup for it.
Yeah, and I think sometimes that when the original itinerary does change, you do have that sense of being on an expedition. You are doing something unique
Yes.
that other customers and other guests won't get to experience, because although an itinerary may operate 3 or 4 times, each time that itinerary will always be different.
Exactly. No one trip is the same. Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
And finally, question number 10. Where in the world would you like to see Hurtigruten travel to next?
There's so many places. The list gets longer and longer every day, but I would say I still really would love us to go to the Galapagos or to Easter Island. It's a bit far out of the way, but I think it's, even with the Norwegian polar history, Easter Island has a lot to say for Hurtigruten, and the Galapagos would just be fantastic.
Yeah, and of course, obviously, Galapagos is a little bit harder because our ships are slightly bigger for the regulations. However, you can now go to the Galapagos with Hurtigruten.
Yeah.
So we do a little bit of land-based package. So you'll fly up to Quito, and we'll fly you across the Baltra Island. You get a couple of days to explore the Galapagos Islands using local transport, which is quite key. Real nice environmental message. So, Chelsea, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We hope you've enjoyed this today's Meet the Team here on board MS Fram, and look out for the next one.
Hope to see you guys on board.